Huzoor granted an audience to various guests and dignitaries.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. Thank you for coming here on our function.
I'm the ambassador of Haiti to the UK.
Haiti?
Yes.
Uh-huh. How is your country?
Could be better.
Yes.
Could be better. Thank you.
His Holiness, it's a pleasure to see you
Yeah,
again.
I
Paul
know you.
Scully, Minister for Technology and Minister
Yes.
for London, as well as
Yes.
neighbouring MP. Lovely to see you as always.
I know you very well.
My name is Leroy Scott, and I'm the mayor of Whitehall and Borden over in Hampshire.
Sure, our area, almost.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I know you, I think.
Good evening, sir.
How are you?
Virendra Sharma, Member of
Yes,
Parliament
yes.
for Ealing South.
I know you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Following the group meeting, the 2019 recipient of the Ahmadiya Peace Prize, Mrs. Barbara Hoffman, had the opportunity to meet Huzoor.
How's life?
Life is a bit hard in the last few months because in Mozambique we have floods and cyclones.
Uh-huh.
There are thousands, 10,000, 100,000 of people, they lost their homes. They were displaced due to the floods.
Is government providing them any makeshift arrangement?
We're trying to help them with food as much as we can.
Uh-huh.
With food, and we had people housed at our centers.
Mm-hmm. The main problem is food or shelter?
Basic is food.
Mm-hmm.
Shelter is number two. It is an honor for
Thank you
us
very much.
to meet you and to be able to exchange.
Thank you for accepting our offer.
The 2022 recipient of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Peace Prize, Mr. Tadadoshi Akiba, also had the opportunity to meet Huzoor.
I'm here to represent Hiroshima and also Hibakusha, that's a Japanese word for the survivors of the atomic bombings. And since I was the mayor for 12 years, and I worked with them to bring peace and to abolish nuclear weapons, and I believe exactly what you have been doing, and it's an honor.
I have been to Hiroshima, yes.
Yes, I saw your picture.
Yes. And even I wrote on the book my comments and praised the people of Hiroshima, how they rebuilt their city.
Yes. Thank you very
It's
much.
amazing.
And with your endorsement of Hiroshima and with just us working together, I'm hoping that the war in Ukraine will end soon, and also that nuclear weapons will not be used.
Yes,
Soon.
if only people get sense.
Yes,
So it all depends on our leaders.
that's right.
So if you can convince them to take sense.
On this occasion, I'd like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Ahmadiyya community for denouncing the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki on August 10th, 1945.
Yes.
You were perhaps
Yes.
the first major organization and among the major leaders to do so publicly. And I believe that means a great deal to people.
Yes. We are still not trying to get lesson from it.
That's right.
And again, trying to eradicate the life from the face of the earth.
Thereafter, Ziad Abul Taif, a Member of Parliament from Canada who had travelled to attend the Peace Symposium, had the chance to meet Huzoor.
Alhamdulillah, everything good. And, thank you for...
It seems as if you are very close to Ahmadis. You are using all our terminology, all our prayers.
Yeah, indeed, it's just the message of Ahmadiyya, of peace, and spreading that message to the world is also mine.
But people, they are not trying to pay heed to it.
They will.
They will, during our generation or next generation.
We need to be persistent.
It all depends on you, the politicians.
Happy to serve with your blessing.
We have been trying our best, but now the ball is in your court.
Yes, we need everyone. I think politics in the West is also, we call it bottom up, from base all the way to the head. People have the influence, the ability to influence the political community to do so.
Huzoor was informed during the meeting that Mr. Abul Taif is a member of the Canadian Human Rights Committee.
Discharge human rights is not an easy job.
Yeah, it's very distinguished. I was on Foreign Affairs twice. Also, I was the Shadow Minister for International Development. So I did my tour from Africa to all the way to Bangladesh, trying to spread the message.
Unfortunately, there was a mishap there in Bangladesh yesterday.
Yeah, I heard. I can't believe that 88 million people country have a fear of 50,000 people. It doesn't make sense.
It was the height of brutality. They killed one of our Ahmadi member and injured quite a number of them.
Yeah.
Some of them are very seriously injured. They are hospitalized. When everything is done, now they have deployed a huge number of military and police and all these forces. What is the use of that now?
It's I mean, again, it's
They burned quite a number of our houses.
Simple to have the fear of 50,000 people. There's something fundamental there in the mentality and the way they are approaching human rights and people's.
No, their police did take action, but it was a delayed action. Had they been taken 2 hours earlier, it would not have happened.
Just after 7 p.m., the formal reception marking the inauguration of the mosque and the National Peace Symposium commenced in the hall, attended by hundreds of guests from dozens of countries. Following tilawat and speeches by dignitaries, Huzoor presented the Ahmadiyya Muslim Peace Prize for the advancement of peace. The 2019 recipient was Barbara Hoffman, founder of ASEM, a charity that helps children orphaned by wars. The 2022 recipient was Dr. Tadashi Akiba from Japan for his efforts to advance practical proposals for nuclear disarmament.
You were one of the first in the world to recognize and protest nuclear weapons' inhumanity and evilness back on August 10th, 1945. The second Caliph declared on that day that it is our religious and moral duty to proclaim to the whole world that we do not consider lawful such bloodshed. Belatedly, the world finally came to the same conclusion when the Treaty on the Prevention of Nuclear Weapons, TPNW, took legal effect on January 22, 2021. Words of your holiness give us direction. Regardless of its effect, we shall never give up our efforts to promote peace and justice, certainly.
Establishing peace in the world. Just a few days ago marked the first anniversary of the war in Ukraine, and sadly, there is no sign of how or when the war will end. Nonetheless, this has not stopped certain political leaders from stating that once the war does end, Russia should be subjected to extreme sanctions and made to pay for its actions. Recently, a column by the journalist Matthew Paris was published in the Times, stating that such statements in advance of any meaningful peace talks are ill-judged and serve only to further inflame a volatile situation and reduce the chances of a peaceful settlement. The columnist wrote that political leaders should be above seeking short-term media acclaim and recognize, as he puts it, that the words spoken now can cast long shadows across a future terrain of which we are still ignorant. He writes that now is not the time to speak of reparations from a defeated Russia or to call for a Nuremberg-style war crimes tribunals. I believe he is right to serve this warning. What incentive will Russia and its leaders have to cease hostilities if they know that their withdrawal will lead to their certain ruin? As I have said, Islamic teachings require for every effort to be made to bring peaceful solution to a conflict. For this reason, I believe it is essential to keep the channels of communication open and to strive to find mutually acceptable terms of agreement. If, however, the aggressor remains bent on causing misery and destruction and refuses to withdraw, Islam teaches that other nations should join together as one and use proportionate and necessary force to end the cruelties. The objective of the intervening parties must remain at all times to establish peace instead of seeking revenge or humiliating the aggressor. Nor should the underlying intention ever be to line one's pockets or to exploit the conflict to advance Western interests. Otherwise, those who have been demeaned will undoubtedly harbor a sense of injustice and resentment. Such frustrations are bound to eventually boil over and lead to further conflict, and so the cycle of incessant violence will continue to rotate with ever greater fury. Regrettably, as the columnist noted, rather than acting wisely, certain leaders and officials are making statements or pledges that serve only to pour petrol on the fire. Instead of helping to end the war, their comments reduce the long-term chances of peace. The world is well versed in supporting victims and those suffering injustice, as is the case with the Ukrainian nation at this time. Yet, it may surprise you to hear that Islam teaches Muslims to help not only the victim of the persecuted, but also the perpetrator and oppressor. Of course, this does not mean you provide the aggressor with the means of freedom to inflict further cruelties. Rather, to help an aggressor means to stop them from committing further brutalities and injustice. Whatever wrongs are being committed by the Russian state, we must keep in mind the broader picture that if the war is not brought to an end, it will lead to a deepening global crisis with potentially catastrophic results. Opposing blocs will become further entrenched. Hatreds will become even more deeply rooted, increasing the likelihood of a world war. Hence, as they continue to support Ukraine as it defends itself, world powers should also be making every possible effort to end the war through peace talks and good faith negotiations. Otherwise, I fear the war will spread beyond Europe and eastwards towards Asia, and who knows where it will stop.